This fan here dropped the temperature in my room by 10 degrees, and it's actually not an air conditioner. For most of us in summer, running the aircon all day just isn't realistic anymore when it destroys our electricity bills. So usually, we buy a fan for 30-40 bucks, point it at our face, and it just sort of pushes the same hot air around. So when DREO sent me over their new turbo cool misting fan lineup, I was curious because this thing actually claims to lower the air temperature not just by moving it around the room. And after a few weeks of use, I can tell you this is the most interesting cooling product I've tested. So I'll show you the full setup and how you can get proper home cooling for under $200 that can be completely controlled from your phone. And thanks to DREO for partnering with me on this video. So the centerpiece of this setup is the DREO Turbo Cool Misting Fan 765S, and the whole thing comes in under $200. It's a tower unit, so it stands on the floor, looks clean, and it's designed to actively cool your entire main living space. The smaller 516S model is a smaller fan that's great on a desk or on the bedside table, and they're paired together through the DREO app I'll go over in a moment. But think of the 765S as your main room cooling and the 516S as your personal add-on zone. And one of the best parts is the setup is dead simple. Basically, plug it in, fill the water tank, connect to the DREO app, and you're done. That's zero installation, no big window units, no need to get anything complicated done. So it's a quick lifestyle upgrade and not just a construction project like a big inverted aircon. Now, once it's set up, my first impressions is wow, the fan designs are great and it looks really modern. The transparent tank at the base has this subtle RGB glow. The display up top is clean. It doesn't look like an appliance. It looks like it belongs in the room. And as soon as you turn it on and within seconds, two things happen at once. First, there's this immediate strong airflow. We're talking serious wind here. And then you see the mist. This visible ultrafine cloud starts flowing out and the air hitting you is noticeably cooler. That's when I thought, okay, this is a little different. The airflow is powered by what DREO calls their turbo wind motor. We're talking up to 1,770 cubic feet per minute of air volume and speeds up to 34 feet per second. To put that in perspective, that's like sitting in a car with the window down doing about 23 miles an hour. And that type of airflow reaches up to 70 feet across a room, so it's not just cooling the spot right in front of you. This all sounds great, but here's what's actually going on under the hood, because this is where the tech gets kind of interesting. So the 765S is a 3-in-1 device. It works as a regular fan, a misting cooler, and a humidifier, and you can control the airflow and the mist independently here. So you can run it just as a fan if you like, switch on the mist to actively cool the room on a hot day, or flip it into humidifier mode in winter when the air gets really dry. Now the mist itself is where DREO's innovative turbo cool technology comes in. The 765S uses dual ultrasonic atomizers running at 1.7 megahertz. It sounds super nerdy, but what I mean by this is instead of spraying water like those old misting fans you've seen at, theme parks, it instead vibrates water at an insanely high frequency until it basically turns into cloud. And that's why they evaporate almost instantly and cools the room instead of landing on your stuff and making everything damp. That's how the air coming out is measurably cooler. Apparently, DREO's lab testing shows up to a 10 degree Fahrenheit or 6 degrees Celsius drop from a fan. That's pretty efficient. So if you're anything like me, I was kind of skeptical of the tech at first. Like mist near my desk, my books, and tech kind of sounds like a disaster waiting to happen. So let's test it. I've got a tissue, a book, and my laptop sitting right here in the airflow path. The misting is on and you can clearly see it. And then look at that with the backlight, there's a visible cloud of mist coming out of this thing. But after a full minute, everything is still completely dry, the book is dry, and so is the laptop. It's not even damp. The reason is those ultra fine droplets that we were talking about at 17 microns, the mist evaporates really quickly before it even settles on a surface. And of course, if you taped a book like right in front of the fan, it will probably get damp, but otherwise it is completely dry. Where this thing really won me over is the day-to-day. Working from home, I've got the 765S running on a low speed with light mist. It's in the corner of my living room, and although this room is quite big with really high ceilings, the room stays noticeably cooler, and I genuinely forget it's there because of how quiet it is. It runs at only 20 decibels on the lower setting, which is whisper quiet, and I don't notice it through the day. And if you're planning to use this in the bedroom while sleeping, the sleep mode is pretty genius. It tapers off the fan speed so it doesn't disturb your sleep throughout the night. And overall, though, there's 12 speed levels and 4 different modes, so you can dial it in to exactly what you need. And that 90-degree oscillation sweeps the whole room, so it's not just, hitting one spot. Practicality wise, the 765S has a massive 6-liter water tank, and in my experience, this gives you over 24 hours of runtime on the lowest mist setting, or about 7 hours or give or take on turbo mode. For me, that's a fill in the morning and you're sorted for the entire day. And cleaning wise, it pulls apart without tools, no pump, no filters, it's all pretty minimal upkeep. Now, of course, we can't forget about the smart features. This is what makes it feel like a smart home device rather than a fan with a remote. So in the DREO app, you've got full control from your phone. You can change fan speeds, adjust mist levels, set schedules, monitor real-time temperatures and humidity remotely. A neat feature is the inbuilt fan sensors, which feeds into the app so you can see the temperature and humidity of the room wherever you are. One of my favorite features is also the auto humidity control, where you can set your target humidity level here, and the fan will auto adjust the misting output live and maintain it. The base even changes colors to tell if your room is too dry, comfortable, or too humid. It's a small touch, but it does add to the overall convenience. And then outside of the app, you can also connect it to Alexa or Google Home for voice control, or you can just use the included physical remote too. Now, everything I've been showing you so far has mainly been the 765S, the tower unit, but for smaller rooms like the home office, that's where the 516S comes in. It's basically the same tech shrunk down to a desk-compatible size. It's also a 3-in-1 as well, fan, misting cooler, humidifier, but it's scaled down for personal use, so you're looking at 512 CFMs of airflow, a 1.3-liter tank, up to 5 degrees Fahrenheit of cooling, 6 speeds, and up to 150 degrees of oscillations across 5 angles. It's quieter too, same 20 decibels at the lowest setting. So basically the tower fan is, made for your living rooms and larger bedrooms, whereas the 516S is great for your nightstand, desk, or kitchen counter. Truthfully though, these fans aren't going to fully replace an aircon unit on extremely hot days. If you're in extreme heat like 100 degrees Fahrenheit or 40 degrees Celsius, you're still going to want that proper aircon for the heavy lifting. What this does mean though, is it makes it a meaningful notice difference in everyday temperatures when you use these two fans, and it does it at a fraction of the running cost. I've also found that it works better in small to medium sized rooms. If you have a house that's, like massively open plan, then the cooling effect is going to be more localized. But to be honest, if you have a massive open home plan, I'm sure you can afford running the aircon wherever you want anyway. Also, placement does matter a lot too. You want it positioned, where the airflow can circulate properly, not tucked behind furniture. So you definitely want to make sure that you have the room to fit these fans. So after some time with these fans, here's the bottom line. For under $200 on the main unit, this is one of the easiest and most cost-effective upgrades you can make heading into summer. It's not just a fan, it's a full cooling system that actually works, especially if you pair it with the 516S, which is desk friendly. It's honestly perfect for renters who, can't install aircon, or people who work from home and need quiet, consistent cooling without breaking the electricity bill. DREO really does make high quality smart home appliances, and it bats way above its weight at this price point. If you made it to the end, drop the word smart fan in the comments and I'll give it a like. Links to both of these fans are in the description, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.